لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Welcome to yet another edition of the program As You Answer the Call, the program that keeps you abreast on the happenings of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, as it performs its mandate of coordinating Nigerian pilgrims to and from Hajj and Umrah. Just like yesterday when it started, the 2019 Hajj is already in its third and final stage, which is the conveying of pilgrims back to Nigeria. And so on the program tonight, we will bring you an update of the return trip as some pilgrims have already arrived the shores of the country. We'll also bring you update on post-Arafat. What issues came up? How did the post-mortem go? These and more shortly. Please stay with us. Thanks for being there. As You Answer the Call begins with the news diary. Top stories on the lineup include updates of the return airlift, amongst other stories. Details of these and more as compiled and presented from our studios.
The return trip of Nigerian pilgrims from Saudi Arabia after the 2019 Hajj is progressing steadily. The homeward journey began last Saturday, the 17th of August, with the first batch made up of over 400 pilgrims each from Katsina and Lagos states. The NAHCON Commissioner in charge of operations, Hajj Abdullahi Saleh, said only 2 airlines, Flynas and Max Air, will be involved in the return flight of Nigerian pilgrims. NAHCON officials are hopeful that, if the tempo is maintained, all Nigerian pilgrims will be brought back ahead of schedule. Meanwhile, the Senate President, Senator Ahmad Ibrahim Lawan, has asked Nigerians to pray fervently for the country to overcome her problems. He stated this while answering questions from journalists at Arafat. He then urged Nigerians to rally around the country's leadership for more success.
Let me also take this opportunity to appeal to Nigerians to continue to show understanding to the leadership of Nigeria today. The President Muhammadu Buhari, is doing so well, is working so hard to ensure that we are able to deal with challenges, especially the security challenges and other development issues that we have been trying to tackle. Those of us in elected positions, especially those of us in the National Assembly, we have decided and we are determined to work with the President, the Executive Arm of Government, to ensure that we address those development and challenges in the country.
Also in an interview, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, called for unity among Nigerians, which he said is in tune with the lessons of Hajj.
From all walks of life, from all corners of the earth, east, west, north, south, everybody is one here. Religion is a leveler. There is no high, there is no mighty. We're all one before the eyes of God. And that is what Hajj is all about. It presupposes unity, it presupposes oneness. We talk about the oneness of Allah. You know, there are no two gods, the oneness of Allah. And that is the Islamic faith embodies that. And that is what you've seen here. And unity, like we say in local parlance, united we stand and divided we fall. So we must continue to pray for unity.
On his part, the Chairman Senate Committee on Army, Senator Ali Ndume, who also performed the Hajj, applauded NAHCON for introducing reforms in Hajj management in Nigeria, saying that the reforms have had positive effect on all aspects of the Hajj exercise.
Well, let me say I've been following this since 2007, as when I was a member of House of Rep. And there has been consistent improvement on the activities of the Hajj Commission and also the conduct of the pilgrims themselves. I think what is contributing much to this effectiveness is the effort of the Hajj Commission itself, and then the technology and development and awareness that is increasing. You know, far back before then, there was no telephone, there was no GPR, there was no Google Map and all that, and people are now so much aware, so that I think contributes.
Similarly, the Chairman Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Adamu Mohammed Bulkachua, spoke to journalists and restated the need for Nigeria to start operating the Hajj savings scheme.
A pilgrim will be contributing. You don't have to have all the money at the same time. You'll be contributing to their account. And then when you have contributed enough money to allow you to come to Saudi Arabia, they will give you notice. When do you want to go to Hajj? And then you decide, but you must give them at least a minimum notice of 2 years so that they can arrange everything for you.
In a related development, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, says it will continue to tap from the experiences of pilgrims to fashion out future plans for Hajj operations in Nigeria. A board member of the commission, Professor Abubakar Mustafa, stated this during an interactive session with pilgrims from the armed forces at their tent in Muna.
Our coming here is to find out from you, your experience. Based on your experience, what are the areas you think improvement should be done? What are the areas in which there are many concerns that National Hajj Commission will look at it critically so that the future Hajj would be smooth?
Some of the pilgrims speak on their experiences.
Help us as pilgrims and present this argument that how many pilgrims are to a toilet. And I believe that they must have a formula for that, because when you go to other sites of other nationalities, you see they don't have congestion. Maybe they are using the correct formula, perhaps.
The timing of Jamrat, the Holy Prophet, the timing given to us is contrary. They said sunset, but we go after or during the early hours of the morning as against the actual timing.
To ensure that the goodwill visit was undertaken to all states, the NAHCON board was divided into 3 groups of A, B, and C, with Professor Abubakar Mustafa heading Group C, while Group A was led by Yahya Shuaibu. NAHCON is expected to interact with other stakeholders as part of the process of collating information.
That spirit of teamwork that you have.
In the meantime, the acting chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Barrister Abdullah Mukhtar Mohammed, has applauded the national media team for its role in reporting the 2019 Hajj. Barrister Mukhtar made a commendation at a meeting with the members of the media team in Mecca, urging them to continue to work within the guidelines approved by Saudi authorities.
That spirit of teamwork that you have developed and cultivate back home, up to this moment, please kindly sustain it. We cannot all be the same. We have our individual thinking differences and approach to issues. Those individual differences should not affect the overall objective of our common goal, which is to make sure that we have a successful outing as a nation.
The acting chairman also had audience with members of the National Ulama team, during which he appreciated their efforts in guiding pilgrims as well as praying for Nigeria. The NAHCON boss urged them to continue with their good work to the pilgrims even as they wait to take turns to return home.
I want to appeal to the ulama that the preaching, the sermons, the reminders, the admonishments should continue in pilgrims' accommodation. timetable should be drawn whereby you will visit the pilgrims' accommodation to remind them about the ethics governing their stay and to remind them to take the maximum advantage of their stay here in Mecca, because nobody is sure of when next that opportunity of coming to Mecca again will be available or will be there.
The acting chairman also plans to hold similar meetings with other committees.
That was the update of recent happenings in our news diary. Coming up next is the segment Making the Hajj and Umrah, with a focus on the post-Arafat. Usually after the big event in the pilgrimage, which is the stay in Muna and Arafat, NAHCON holds a meeting to x-ray the event and the coordination as well as other issues. How did it go? What matters came up? Let's find out.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك.
As it is the tradition after the Hajj, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, holds the post-Arafat meeting with stakeholders in Mecca. The essence is to evaluate the conduct of the Hajj and discuss ways to improve on future exercises. The return trip of Nigerian pilgrims after the Hajj also topped the agenda. In attendance at the stakeholders meeting were heads of NAHCON various committees, executive secretaries of state pilgrims welfare boards, members of the National Assembly, and representatives of tour operators as well as members of the Ulama team, amongst others. Some of the issues that formed the focal point of discussion by NAHCON officials were also heard by various committees include Jamrat and Turadudiya arrangement, feeding and accommodation, monitoring and evaluation, and medical services.
We actually deployed our personnel to all the 23 field offices. The only challenge we had was the tour operators. They had multiple tents and therefore couldn't have space to actually create a tent for the tour operators. And indeed, we had drugs and medical consumables in all the tents. All our mobile facilities also functioned effectively, and we consulted a large number of pilgrims, over 10,000 actually, over 10,000 that we saw. Unfortunately, we recorded 2 deaths, actually 3 deaths in Muna and Arafat.
As for the Jamrat, yes, some people, some pilgrims complied, but majority, let me say, majority still went to the Jamrat on their own or within their own groups. But the only good thing was the difficulties was not much, because at least they took up from Muna, and as such they were able to go and return safely and without missing their route back to their camp. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that.
Mushahid this year, alhamdulillah, we recorded a lot of success because Nigerian food was served and the quality and quantity has improved compared to previous years.
Briefing participants on arrangement for the return trip, the Commissioner of Operation at NAHCON, Abdullahi Modibo Saleh, said plans have been put in place to facilitate movement of programs to airport, distribution of Zamzam water, and ensuring compliance with approved luggage weight for main and hand luggage.
The success of the return journey depends on all of us. We have a collective responsibility to ensure that the right person does the right thing at the right time. Having said this, I would particularly place emphasis on the issue of compliance with the baggage weight and sizes. The 32 kg baggage should not by any reason, for any reason, exceed 32 kg. Most of us know the 32 kg is going to be placed on equipment that are calibrated. I would like to repeat, calibrated to carry 32 kg and no more than 32 kg.
Addressing the stakeholders, Nigerian ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Ambassador Muhammadu Isa Dudu, thanked them for carrying out their work diligently. He said the essence of review meeting is to help Nigeria plan further improvements in Hajj operations.
Listening is very, very important, because it's what we add, it's what we say, it's what we do to make sure that we increase the volume of the work we have done. I don't have to say much on this type of issue. Remember, whatever you are going to do, please kindly fear your God. Ra'usul Hikmah Muhabbatullah.
Speaking at the event, NAHCON Acting Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed congratulated all stakeholders for the successful conduct of Hajj, reiterating the need for synergy in order to record more successes as well as address challenges.
Collectively, I believe we have made our country proud. We need to sustain the teamwork to keep the flag flying high. Hajj cannot be without challenge. Challenges will always be there, but our ability to overcome the challenges, that's what matters. For the Mashair activity, we witnessed some successes and we witnessed also some challenges. Part of the successes recorded is the provision of air condition in the normal tent C of Nigerian pilgrims. These are matters that we have seen in the past as a mere dream. But alhamdulillah, in 2019, it becomes a reality. The movement from Makkah to Mina, Arafah to Muzdalifah was on record time. Though the experiment of our transit point at Muzdalifah, being a pilot one, witnessed some challenges, which we hope to go back to drawing board and see how it could be handled better.
On the issues of homeward journey, the NAHCON boss directed states and the national medical team to work out plans for ensuring that pilgrims with health issues are given priority attention.
So now I'm making a formal announcement to all the states. If you have any pilgrim with any medical complication that need to be evacuated or transported back home as quick as possible. I'm not guaranteeing first flight, but we'll make arrangement as quick as possible. States should liaise now immediately after this meeting with Dr. Kana so that we'll have one centralized sources of confirming the list. You give us them, we'll do the needful to arrange for their evacuation.
The Chairman Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Adamu Mohammed Bulkachwa, and that of House Committee on Pilgrims Affairs, Honorable Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba, also spoke at the event.
The Commission, who is solely in charge of bringing pilgrims from Nigeria, taking them back home, looking after their welfare, looking after their health, are, from my observation, they're doing very well. Because I remember in the past, the problems we had, and the number of pilgrims that lose their lives in the process either of trekking from Muna to Arafat, then they trek back from Arafat to Muzdalifah, and then they try to get to the Jamra, all because there are no vehicles to convey them from one place to the other. But this story is now different.
We'd like to use this opportunity to commend the NAHCON leadership and members of the NAHCON team for putting in place some of the best services for Nigerian pilgrims.
Participants at the event made their contribution regarding the conduct of the 2019 Hajj operations and other issues bordering on NAHCON reforms. They also expressed satisfaction with the leadership of the Commission under Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed.
And I want to thank you for two things. That is the issue of our biometrics.
in which I dealt with last year, it has been cancelled. Mr. Sharma, thank you, sir. It remains one. Although you have pursued it, I want you to pursue it to its logical conclusion. That's the issue of repeated Hajj, 2,000 Saudi Riyal. Although at our last pre-visit, we got a promise that it will be cancelled again next year. Mr. Chairman, sir, help us.
We also noticed that the medical team, both in Mina, Medina, and Mecca, were interchanged, and our own local Nope, Yoruba, and Fulani people from Kwara, not many of them understand the language or the languages of the medical personnel that were attending to them. So we'd like to draw your attention that yes, it is better controlled nationally, but while dispatching them, it's better they are dispatched to areas where they can easily interface with their prospective patients.
Whoever is following the trends of events since when this learned gentleman assumed the office of NAHCON chairman, I can say with certainty and without fear of contradiction that he will agree with me that many initiatives were introduced and there are many improvements in many aspects of the operation. So, Mr. Chairman, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly.
Over the years, the outcome of the pre- and post-Arafat stakeholders meeting have contributed significantly in guiding NAHCON to carry out its operation successfully as well as plan for subsequent Hajj exercise.
Welcome back. The pilgrim has performed the Hajj successfully. Probably he has returned to his family. But is that the end of it? What is the conduct becoming of one who has just embarked on this holy exercise? That is our focus on Hajj Talk tonight. Stay tuned as our guest caller takes us through in our next segment.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة.
With pilgrims preparing to embark on the homeward journey after the completion of the 2019 Hajj, Islamic scholars are quick in reminding pilgrims that it's not yet over because while still in Mecca waiting for their flight schedules, they're expected to take advantage of the stay to supplicate and pray. On Hajj Talk tonight, Imam Abdulrahman Ahmad speaks on what pilgrims are expected to do after the Hajj. He begins by talking about Hajj Mabrur, or Hajj that is accepted by Allah.
The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Hajj al-Mabrur laysa lahu jaza'un illa al-Jannah. Hajj Mabrur has no other reward except Jannah. So it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been pleased with anyone who does Hajj Mabrur. It means Allah has accepted the Hajj, and there will be signs that one will see that will indicate acceptance. One is it will become easier for one to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all of the things that He has commanded, and it will be easier for one to avoid everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden.
Why are pilgrims encouraged to supplicate and pray at the Haram after the Hajj?
That the salah that is said in this holy land, in the Haram, is many more times more rewarding than the salah that is done in other places on earth, particularly in this place, in Mecca, in Masjid al-Haram and its environ. The salat that is done has much more reward than the salat that is done, for example, in Jeddah, or in Ta'if, or in Riyadh, or back home in Nigeria. So one must take advantage of this.
What other acts of worship can pilgrims also engage in at Haram while waiting to be transported back home?
You see, we're still in the mood, we're still in the Haram, we're still in the land of revelation. So as much as possible, one should do more tawaf, because that is something you can do elsewhere. As much as possible, one should do more tawaf, one should do more nawafil, one should do more recitation of the Quran.
Which type of tawaf should pilgrims perform before leaving for their respective countries?
So a pilgrim will do tawaful wada, which is just only tawaf without sa'i. All right? When he or she is ready to go back to his or her, country. And this cannot be done a day before or 2 days before. It must be, a matter of hours, before one leaves for Jeddah, for instance. Normally, the ulama, the pilgrim guides, will tell the Hujjaj when to go for their tawaf so that they will be in time.
Imam Abdurrahman Ahmad urged Muslims to always seek knowledge about Hajj rites before embarking on the holy pilgrimage, saying it is the easiest way to earn Hajj Mabrur.
That's it on this week's edition of the program As You Answer the Call. Join me again same time next week for another package as we take you through the various aspects of the Hajj and Umrah education. Good night and thank you for watching.
والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد